Hello YouTube! In today's video I'm going to be going through how to set the shutter speed indirectly on a GoPro 5 Black while taking burst photos. I have my camera set up for 30 photos in 1 second, and this is the system that I'm going to be using to test it on. Basically it's just a running engine, and it has a loose belt on it that should be pretty easy to see movement. And it also has a degreed pulley that we want to see if we can improve the photos to actually get the shutter speed fast enough to capture the numbers on the pulley as the engine's running. I'm going to take two separate shots for this. The first shots are going to be with the ISO set at 100 minimum and 1600 maximum. And the EV set at 0. I would consider this more or less the default settings in my mind. I'm just letting the camera pick the shutter speed and the ISO. And here are the pictures that I got from doing that. You can see as I scroll through the pictures that the belt is definitely loose and moving, but it's completely blurred. And really, every one of these pictures shows pretty close to the same thing, and you really can't see how far it's deflecting. And also, it's impossible to tell, if I zoom in here, that there even really is any numbers on the pulley. The reason that this is happening is because the GoPro has decided to use an ISO of 130, which will give us a very nice, clean, very little noise in the picture, but it's made our shutter speed 1. So we have an extremely slow shutter speed, and that's why everything gets blurred together. There is no setting to directly change that in the GoPro, but what you can do is you can set your ISO minimum and maximum, and you can also set your EV in steps. So what I've done is I've actually set the EV to -2 and the ISO to 1600. And if I scroll through these first pictures, which are all part of the first burst, we can see we get to the second set of pictures, which is from the second burst at these settings. Again, these settings are at 1600 ISO, which we can see it locked it at like it should, and -2. And it actually sped up our shutter speed to over 1/4000th of a second. What this will do is it'll actually freeze the picture and will allow us to get more detail. Now at the higher ISO, you're going to get a higher noise content in your photos, but if I have a choice between a blurred photo that doesn't tell me anything when I'm trying to analyze the system, or a photo that might be on the noisy side, I would prefer to take the noisy side. These settings work very well for the type of pictures that I'm trying to capture. If we zoom in on this, the photo, we can now see the numbers on the crankshaft pulley. And when I scroll through them, you can actually see how many degrees the crankshaft is turning between each photo. We're looking to try to get a fast shutter speed so that your burst photos will work a little bit better for faster motion. As long as you're willing to give up that low ISO, you can actually force the camera to use a very fast shutter speed by using those settings. Hopefully you found this interesting, and thanks for watching.